I guess start off by telling me, you guys have gone to some very harsh places.
Yeah.
Do you ever think we'll make our next IMAX documentary in Hawaii?
Well, we are, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we've been in the Arctic for the last 6 years, and our next big campaign is in really warm places underwater. So there you go.
One of the things I thought was really cool about this was the cameras that were sort of disguised as icebergs. And do you have a guy like Q and James Bond that is like, when you go on this mission, you get an iceberg camera?
Yeah, actually, John Downer, who's from England, specializes in this kind of surreptitious camera work, and so we got a hold of him and shot some sequences that way.
Is there a very big difference you see using a camera like that as opposed to just a straight-up camera? Do the animals react differently?
Well, I think the big thing with those cameras is because we're shooting for the IMAX screen that's 8 stories tall, it works for certain things. You can't really fit a huge 400-pound camera in a small little rock and then have it chasing across the ice. But it works in panels, which is what we did in the IMAX film. The majority, 99% of the film, we shot with these big, bulky IMAX cameras that you only have 3 minutes per load, and then you have to reload. It's about 10 to 15 minutes to reload, and it costs about $1,000 per minute. But the reason why we do it is because it looks so amazing. The clarity, the resolution, the color on a huge, giant screen in these museums, science centers, and aquariums around the world.
You have some shots in this, too, where you're underwater and a polar bear is just going right over the camera. How close are you actually to the creatures?
About 2 to 3 feet, and the joy of those shots is that you haven't seen them before like that, and this was one of our primary goals in shooting this movie, was to get those images. I knew that we could get them if we just persevered and shot long enough, and so we designed that into our schedule, hired Bob Cranston, who is kind of my go-to guy for dangerous shooting opportunities. He loves great white sharks, he loves alligators, and now he loves polar bears. But he figured out a way to shoot the bears where he was relatively safe, but still he could have been eaten at any minute. These bears are probably the hungriest animal on the planet, and they will eat anything. And so it wasn't necessarily at all safe. Bob took a big chance, and he's my real hero in making this movie. He did such a great job.
There's also a shot in this which I thought was the most awe-inspiring, which is it a whalebone? It's an enormous spinal column sort of spread out across an iceberg.
Yeah, that was up in Svalbard, Norway, and we found this whale that had, polar bears and other animals had pretty much eaten almost all of it. But that's where this polar bear family would keep on going to eat the remaining scraps. And we were actually able to put a remote camera right on the very front of it and be able to get some amazing shots where we were about 30 feet away and we could press record and be at a safe distance.